Good morning, Flosstube friends. How are you today? It is June 22nd, the day after summer solstice, so still a very long day in the year. Here in Texas, it is triple digit summer, so anything you need to get done that involves the outdoors, you have to do early in the morning. Get it done definitely before noon, or you will be dealing with those 100 plus degree days. We know this is coming. We prepare every year and then we gripe. So I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether this is your vacation time or you're right in the middle of work. I would have been here last week, but I caught a summer cold that is the worst I think I've ever had. I did a COVID test. It was negative. It was just a summer cold, but it was the worst. Then, of course, my husband caught it, but we remembered to do all the early cold remedies for him, including the zinc lozenges, extra vitamin C, extra vitamin D, elderberry. Anyway, he seems to be recovering more quickly, or shall we say avoiding some of the really bad symptoms. So if I start to cough, I think I will try to pause, but I wanted to get this filmed today if I could before things got busy again. I'm laughing because I have honestly been busier since I retired than I was when I was working full time. And I'm just not even believing that I'm saying that to you. It's good. Everything's been good except for the cold, but just crazy busy. But I have found time to stitch, not nearly as much as I would like. But I have 2 new starts, and one of those is a finish. And I'll tell you where and how about showing haul, but I do have a small amount of haul because of our visit to a needle workshop we'd never been to before. So forgive me if my voice gets a little raspy. You'll know that I'm on the recovery end of this cold with residual cough. So let me show you the new start that is also a finish. And if you are my oldest daughter, this would be a good time for you to walk away and do a chore. I don't want you to see this ahead of time. I wanted to make this particular pattern for my oldest daughter's birthday, which comes toward the end of the summer, for 2 reasons. She enjoys the color blue as much as I do, but also this sentiment describes her 100%. So this is my first Sue Hillis design. It is called A Study in Blue. And I know you've seen people stitching these patterns to make this beautiful box. Stitchy Sally, I love her floss tube. Hi, Sally. Got this done. And oh my word, her box is just amazing. I don't think that's in my skill set. But what I did was to make this for my daughter, and I'm going to frame it in a hoop. I'm shopping today or tomorrow for some ribbon, and I think I'll wrap the hoop on the outside with the pretty blue and white ribbon before I frame it. I have another daughter who is willing to help me frame in a hoop, which I have not done in ages. So this will go with me on my trip to visit her to get that done for the other daughter. But this is a gorgeous booklet. And not only does it have the patterns, I think that's an advertisement, sorry. Not only does it have the patterns in it, which of course I would not show you, but it also gives you instructions for all the finishing. So someday I may make it for myself, but at this point, no. So I chose, let's try to have clear words today. The pattern called for dungarees, which is a Gentle Art sampler thread, and my store did not have dungarees, so she pulled all of her Gentle Art, all of her blues that were variegated, and I chose this gentle art, which is called Cornflower. And I would love to be able to show you. It is extremely variegated. So this is the end result, which I hope you can see. There we go. Gather the threads of your life and stitch them into joy. What could be a better sentiment to read every day? And those birds on either side, the flowers. I decided to do this on Hardanger. I believe it's 22 count, but I wanted the clear, pure white. I think the blue might be a teeny bit brighter than this, than it's showing, but there is my finish. And I'm thrilled to have this for her and to surprise her. I will complain, we have to complain a little bit, don't we? That for some reason, this floss knotted all the time. I spent as much time getting knots out as I did stitching. And I took it with me on a trip, which I will tell you about in a moment. So I did not have my thread heaven, which I have at home. I'm hoping that would help, but it was so frustrating, which made the whole thing very fiddly. But I persisted. I did a lot of frogging and a lot of griping about this floss. But I have enough left. I think what I would like to do is the smaller one. Let me see if you can see this one. It's called Button Button. As an ornament. I just think that's adorable with the old buttons. And I could actually finish that one. So I will use my cornflower, but I will use Thread Heaven, let me tell you. So that will be framed somehow in the hoop, but I will wrap the ribbon around it for color and probably put a big bow here with the same or coordinating ribbon. That way she can hang it pretty much anywhere she wants to. Okay, older daughter, you can come back now. My second start also went with us on our little weekend trip. And you know that I'm trying to finish all 4 of the Rosewood Manor seasons. Excuse me. So I took autumn with us. And as you remember, if you've watched before, I'm using a gift even weave that is a pinkish color. And so this is progress on autumn. And as you can see, these work up super quickly. Now, the motif of the whole design is acorns or acorns, depending on where you're from as to how you pronounce those. So this motif at the bottom is finished. I've got it covered up here with my hoop. And of course, you see the word autumn. This is close to being finished. I do have some stems to put in and a few specialty stitches. But I started the flower pot last night because I needed some mindless stitching. Hopefully this will be the next finish I show you, which means then I only have one of those left to finish, and then we want to have them all framed at the same time. And my husband thinks we should just hang all 4 seasons together, which I think would be lovely. So this is Rosewood Manor Autumn, done on 28 count mystery even weave with, I did not bring my beautiful House of Embroidery floss to show you. It's in there on my chair. I've showed it to you before. It comes in this kit. It is from South Africa, and all your variegation comes from that floss. So I'll show you next time, hopefully, if it's finished. You can see what I have left, pretty much. There is something about this stitch, all these Rosewood Manor seasons, that are simple and delightful. And I'm wondering if A, it's the floss, but I know B, it is the design. Karen Kluba is some kind of designer, and you know she's one of my favorites. Okay, so we also wanted to focus on two more pieces, and one of them did not get touched, so I did not bring it in today. A Savior's Praise, which was my retirement gift from my family. I want to get to it now that we're home as much as I can, because I still love it very much. I just didn't want to travel with it. The other finish that I'm aiming for is another Rosewood Manor, which was gifted to me by a sweet friend, and it is called Music Amongst the Trees. And we've talked about this so much, I'm not even going to talk to you about it. But I did do what I had hoped to do when we talked about it in my last video, and that was to get some of the little trees done, since there are so many, and to work on the last big tree, as well as, did I do an animal? Well, let me show you what I did. This is still in my standing hoop or seated hoop, whatever you want to call it. So there we go. I've been working on this big tree, and if you, I wish you could see the color there. This is some blues and grays. I have a lot of that to fill in. But then I've started on little baby trees. Those need their trunks. And here's another baby tree that needs a trunk, and a bigger tree. I'm not sure. I know I filled in up here. Was that squirrel done last time? No, I just did that squirrel since I've seen you. And I'm ready to do the butterfly, which I'll show you in just a minute. So this is finished, this whole section, except for the little trunks here. And so once I fill in this over here and put the trunks here, then we're ready to move to the butterfly. And I will, this week, hopefully continue this big tree. If I sat down maybe 2 or 3 days and actually focused, that would be finished. And then I can move this way to finish what is on the top and the little trees. This is done on white linen, 32 count, I believe from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And it is the called for DMC. If you see the little yellow butterfly, that's where I'll be aiming. And you can see what I've done here. Well, I actually have one more tree to do up here. But this, I love this piece. I just need to work on it and finish it. There's nothing about it I don't like. So, no excuse. We took, in fact, I took the cold with me, of all things. We took a long weekend and drove down to Houston, Texas. I had never been to Houston. We've lived here in this state for 24 years, and I had never been to Houston. I am ashamed. But we had some hotel points, and so the trip was free, except for the gasoline and then some food that you always have to buy on a trip. But we had just a beautiful weekend, very relaxing, and we purposely limited ourselves to not many outings. We enjoyed the hotel pool area. I totally enjoyed their gym before I got really sick. It was huge and so well maintained. And we walked from the hotel over to the Houston Galleria. Although we only ate over there once, we didn't stay. It was so crowded. But our main field trip and goal in going down there, other than seeing the beautiful city and enjoying these hotel points, was to see the Houston Museum of Fine Art. The Museum of Fine Arts Houston, actually, to be official. And if you are an art lover, this place is a destination. We spent as much of the day as we could before we were starving and had to go back and get something to eat. But you could stay 2 days and not see it all. It is beautifully, beautifully designed and displayed. And all the buildings, there are several buildings, are connected by what is called an underground tunnel, but the whole tunnel has art. It's just phenomenal. So we thoroughly enjoyed seeing all kinds of beautiful art from every period. My favorite I bought this card. It's not a postcard, I guess you would say. It's just a gift, like a greeting card, but I'll take it out. Forgive this plastic. I love Mary Cassatt. And this is her painting called Sarah Comforting the Baby. But if you can see the colors and the detail in those faces, look at her little perambulator. So we saw this, of course, in person. So many famous artists represented. It was a day, I have to say. So on our way, we drove down on a Saturday. As we often do as stitchers, I looked on my phone to see if there were any needle workshops in the area or on the way. And if we took a slight detour on our way into the city, there was a needle workshop that was open. So we took the detour, and as it turned out, people, it was better that we went the way we went because it saved us from some of the stressful Houston traffic that we would have had to drive through had we not gone this little leg off the interstate. So the shop is called 3 Stitches, and it is in Spring, Texas. I believe that's Louetta Road, Spring, Texas. And we met the owner and a couple of her sweet employees and just browsed. Now, I didn't have anything I needed. That's an understatement. So I didn't even know what I wanted to look for. So I was in a wandering mode. And my only negative comment about that shop is that it is very small and her charts are just crammed in the front of the store. It's almost impossible to see everything she has. So we were shopping more from the store models, which is always fun. You can't know what something looks like if you don't see the model. So the haul that we bought, we saw models and we loved. And I only have 2 patterns, so I'm proud of myself. I walked out of that store only spending $14 plus tax. That's pretty good. But the thing I want to share with you is the packet of needles that I purchased. Guys, I've never heard of these before, but I definitely have new favorite needles. They're called Mary Jardin. They are made in England. My little plastic thing fell off. They are actually made in Warwickshire, England. And they've been there in business, let me see if this says this, for over 300 years. Now, I have been unhappy with whatever needles I've had in my hand lately, and I think it was just a hodgepodge. Some cheap ones from a box store, some John James, some Bowen, who knows what I've been using. But this is like a new experience. I was wowed. I don't think there's any way you can tell anything about this needle, but the eye is bigger than some, so it's easier to thread. And guys, there's something about the metal that has been used to make this needle that makes it glide through your fabric and not catch, I guess is the word. Now, the owner said she really liked these, but I got, let's see how much I got. 6 needles. Well, I can't get it back in there now. 6 of these needles for $2.75. I think that's a really good deal. So on my way home, I looked it up. They do sell them on 123 Stitch. I think they're a little bit more. I'm not sure if my local needle workshop sells them, but I will be asking. They're the best things ever. And I'm thrilled to support an industry in little Warwickshire, England, which I want to look up and see if we can find it. It is, wait a minute, Mary Jardin of England. That's what it's called. Now, these are size 26. I think those are my preferred for what I'm stitching, but there were other sizes, of course. So let me show you my stash. My husband found this one, and we have laughed about it since. It is Waxing Moon Designs. Look at this, guys. They had it in the store. Now, whether we use that color blue fabric is, I'm not sure. I don't even know when I'll stitch this. It does call for weeks dye works, but it does give DMC, which I'll probably use. Let's see. I might use a variegated green. We'll see. But anyway, it says, my stitching time is sometimes for your safety. Remember that. I just love it. What a precious one for our stitching corners or our sewing rooms. So this is on the list for between now and the end of the year. The other would be my first Jardin Prive. I have not done any of those beautiful designs. And after I got home with this, I realized that there are 4 in the series, and this is number 4. So I may have to add 1, 2, and 3. But it is called History of Sheep. Now, could you please? House, tree, bees, those sheep that I love so much. A spinning wheel with the needlewoman working there, and then the little flowers at the bottom. And I want you to see that one of the sheep is gray. I just think that's precious. So this is gonna have to be worked on also. She only calls for DMC. And let me show you all 4 designs as they could be stitched together. That's not very clear, I'm sorry. Here's the one I have purchased. So I would have 3 more to find if I decide to do that. But oh my goodness, I think I will. That's just the cutest. And I like the way she lays out her patterns. Of course, I'm not going to show you that, but very clearly done. Let's do a quick book talk, and I'll let you go for the day. Guys, it is amazing to be back and to chat, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. If you're new, you will find that I'm going to show you new starts because I have startitis, and I get really excited when I have a finish. But I think I'm definitely a process stitcher and a start stitcher. I'm also rather eclectic in my taste. I do have several traditional samplers on the go, which I have not shown you today. I do not or have not done any fancy ladies, although I do have 2, maybe 3 in my stash, one of which I would love to start, but oh, there's so many things I want to stitch. So hopefully next film or the next, I'll be able to pull out 1 or 2 of those traditional samplers, and you'll be able to see something different than Rosewood Manor and my stash. Oh, I did not bring my crochet blanket, my pink baby girl blanket, but I am working on the border, so it is almost finished. Next time I'll hope to be able to show you a finished fluffy pink afghan. Okay, books. I am trying to finish without rushing to read it, my Elizabeth Goudge, A City of Bells. I've shown you this so many times, and it's been put aside so many times because I'll read a chapter and I'll love it, and then I'll put it in the stack and forget that it's there. But my purpose in reading it slowly, part of it I've reread, is because her writing is beautiful. And I write quotes in my notebook. She was a writer with a gift. But I highly recommend any of her books. This is the first one in a trilogy. Once I finish it, I will quickly move on to the second one. It is called the Cathedral Trilogy. It does take place in England, and she was an English author. Family, small town, struggles with the things in life that cause us to struggle. So much compassion and heartwarming relationships. So, Elizabeth Goudge, go for her if you can find her. This is the first of this trilogy, A City of Bells. Then my sweet friend Donna recommended a mystery series, and I don't think she's even been able to find it on her library or anywhere else, but I was able to access it through Scribd, so I am listening to the audiobooks. I have finished this first one, and I'm working on the second one. The author is T.E. Kinsey. He is also British. And the one I just finished is A Quiet Life in the Country. The heroine is Lady Hardcastle, and her sidekick is Flo Armstrong. She is the lady's maid. And they solve mysteries, of course, murder mysteries, but the humor is throughout. You will laugh at those two ladies and their interaction with the village and with each other. So the one I'm reading now, let me see if I can find it. Well, maybe not. I'll have to show you that next time. Let's see. Oh, I found it. In the Market for Murder. So the first one, A Quiet Life in the Country, was written in 2014. In the Market for Murder was 2015. There are, if I have not looked at it incorrectly, 14 titles. Some are Lady Hardcastle mysteries and some are other mysteries that have 2 or 3 books in each set. But fun, make you laugh, make you think about solving the mystery. So, A Quiet Life in the Country, T.E. Kinsey, Kinsey. You know I love a cozy mystery, but these are well written and very clean, mostly, and just that snippet of British life back in the day. So, highly recommend if that's something you enjoy. Okay, I think I've told you everything. If there were things I was supposed to show you from last video, please ask me in the comments below the question, because I'm afraid I will not remember necessarily. I want to answer any questions or give details if you need them. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for leaving a comment if you have something you'd like to say. If you are new or have not subscribed, I would be honored if you push that button, and also let me know that you're new on board. As I always say, enjoy your stitching, stay healthy, come back as soon as you can, and I will come back as soon as I can. Take care. See you soon.